Welcome to our in-depth analysis. Today we're going to discuss a core and arguably very powerful concept in Buddhism called dedicating merit Hui Xiong, or Paris in Sanskrit. This is not just the simple act of making a wish when you pray. It holds a secret that can fundamentally change the power of all your good deeds. Think about it. We all do good things, donating, helping others, which generates positive energy. But have you ever considered where this energy, this so-called merit or virtue, where ultimately goes? What is its destination? Speaking of dedication, many first think of it as making a wish. Right, I did a good deed, and I asked the Buddhas or Bodhisattvas to direct this good fortune to my family, or to help me with my career. Many understand it this way. However, the Master's teachings we are analyzing goes far beyond this. It is, how should I put it, a more active and powerful process of transformation. Let's cut right to the chase. The Master in our source material used a very modern and, I think, perfectly fitting analogy to explain this ancient practice. He said that dedication is actually a form of spiritual genetic engineering. You see, it's not simply mailing a package to a different address. According to the Master, dedication is the act of fundamentally changing the karmic DNA of your virtuous act the moment it happens. In other words, you personally decide what kind of fruit this seed will bear in the future. So, how does this genetic engineering work? The process is broken down very clearly. First step, you perform a good deed. For example, you make a monetary donation, an act of duna generosity. Second step, merit is naturally generated. The original, default karmic seed of this merit is set to make you wealthy in the future. The crucial step. The third step, you use a higher aspiration to dedicate the merit. In your heart, you think, I don't want future wealth. I wish to transform this power into the focused concentration, samadhi, needed to uphold my precepts. Fourth step, what happens is that the DNA of this seed is rewritten. It is re-engineered, transforming into a brand new seed, the ability to uphold the precepts. Isn't that amazing? The Master's statement truly reveals the essence. He calls this genetic modification. You are not passively waiting for karma to give you something. You can actively and intentionally shape that seed. You become the engineer of your own spiritual future. So, how does this mechanism work? It involves a critical relationship between the actions we take and our deepest aspiration. The Master explains it this way. If you have a great aspiration, for example, to achieve Buddhahood and save all sentient beings, but you lack the actual virtuous deeds and merits to nourish it, this aspiration remains an empty shell. It has the shape, but it's hollow inside, lifeless, and cannot grow. So, what is the role of dedication? It is the fuel, the nourishment. It takes the meritorious energy generated by every act of virtue, like filling up a gas tank, and precisely injects it into the empty shell of your aspiration, transforming it from a hollow form into a full, solid seeds that can truly sprout. This point is profoundly important. The Master helps us clarify a key idea. If we look back at a fully enlightened Buddha, the foundation of all their actions comes from that initial, great aspiration. However, for those of us who are still striving on the path, the Bodhisattvas, the starting point of all, practice is not just making the vow, but dedication. Why? Because only through dedication can that aspiration be nourished and allowed to grow. Now, we must discuss the preconditions for this powerful practice to truly work on the path to enlightenment. You can, of course, dedicated merit for personal goals. There's no problem with that. But the Master specifically points out that for this method to unleash its maximum transformative power, our perspective must transcend the self. The key is in this sentence. If your motivation for your virtuous roots and merits does not include the desire to benefit all sentient beings, then, by the standards of the Bodhisattva path, strictly speaking, it cannot even be called true dedication. In other words, its ultimate goal must be for the benefit of all, and not just for your own well-being. As we conclude, let's draw out the most essential takeaway for today: the role dedication plays on the map of spiritual practice. To quickly summarize, today we learned that dedication is absolutely more than just making a wish. It is a spiritual technology for actively transforming karma. Like the master's analogy of genetic engineering, it changes the outcome of your good deeds to nourish your grand aspiration, turning it from an empty shell into a solid seed. And the highest goal of all this is to benefit all sentient beings. So please remember this point. It is what the Master most wants us to understand. For someone walking the Bodhisattva path, dedication is not a last-minute corrective action you remember to do after a good deed. No, it is the navigation system you set before doing anything. It is the most important foundation and the starting point of all your practices. I leave this question for everyone to contemplate from today on. The meaning of every small good deed we do may be completely different. The focus is no longer just, I did a good thing, but I must consciously choose where this intention, this merit, will bloom and bear fruit. Thank you for watching.